kind of feels overwhelmed with getting settled there. And then Misty is still working on getting her supervisor's permission.
Okay.
But I did write a letter of support to her supervisor, and I explained project scope. So.
Cool.
Okay.
And Morgan, do Amanda and Leanne work with you?
They do.
Okay, great. All right.
And they both work with Heart as well.
Good. Good.
And then Misty previously worked with Heart. She's worked with Heart the longest. I think she was with us for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And then Rosie, who I just adore, I was so sad she wasn't able to do it. She, her boyfriend recently passed away, and so she just has much going on. But she would have been great too, but I hated that for her.
Oh, goodness.
I totally understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Kristen, thank you for recruiting for us and finding all of these wonderful folks. And I mean, Morgan, you came highly recommended, and I know, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm and your passion for this work. And it was nice to hear a little bit about you. I think we'll do, you're probably quite familiar with Kristen, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then Caroline can introduce herself, and then we'll kind of talk about the project and what the role of the small group facilitators looks like, and then answer any questions that you might have. But my name is Christine Hausman. I work at the University of Kentucky, and I work with a lot of early childhood childcare providers predominantly, but then I also kind of have, I don't know, I call them like my passion projects, and that's Project Scope. And then I also have another project that I work on. It's called Learn the Signs, Act Early, and it helps families understand developmental milestones for their children, and then it encourages them to act early by like reaching out to their pediatrician or other folks that are involved in their children's lives if they have any concerns about their children's development. So those are kind of my fun extra projects. But Project Scope is one of the newer ones, and it's definitely near and dear to my heart. So I am based in Lexington, but I do work on lots of projects from across the state, but I'm housed here in Lexington. I'll turn it over to Caroline.
Well, Morgan, it's great to meet you. I have some years in early childhood as well, all across Kentucky. Actually, I used to be home-based, Southeast, Southern, Central, Northern Kentucky, not so much, a little bit Northern. Anyway, I've got lots of experience in early childhood special ed. I have personal experience in recovery. So this program brings we lost her.
Oh, dang.
Wait.
She was so dedicated because she's actually at the beach right now. She didn't do group this week, but didn't want to cancel this meeting again. So might be having connection. Oh, okay. She said it kicked me off signing back on. It's storming bad here. Well, good. We're not making her miss a bad day at the beach.
Oh, that is dedication. We have to make sure we tell her she gets paid.
We will pause.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
But at least it's I don't ever mind missing something at the beach, at least if it's bad weather. That's usually my shopping day.
Yeah. There she is.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
No.
You are so dedicated to be talking to us on your vacation.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's not taking much time out of my day. So no big deal.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I would just say, like Christine, this is one of the projects I love the most. And when folks like you are willing to come in and help us lead our small groups, it makes all the difference in the world, because you all bring a voice of experience that our other participants don't have. And so your voice is very important to what we do in this project. So I'm glad to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And it was helpful to kind of hear about some of your connections there to some of the other names we've been seeing on these emails, but it's nice to put a name to a face. Did you care to share anything about like your current work or anything just in a nutshell about yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Morgan. I'm from Kentucky. I have 3 children, 12, 8, and 3 years old. October 1st, I'll have 4 years clean. I currently do not have custody of my oldest 2 children. I'm working with a lawyer through legal aid to get them back, but I'm on vacation with all my children and my mother because we have a good relationship. They stay at my house. They have rooms at my house. You know, I see them on a daily basis. Let's see. My youngest daughter, that's 3. I was pregnant when I went to treatment. I was pregnant with her. I had her in treatment. We was there for 10 months. I went to a homeless shelter afterwards. I got a job. They helped me with the house. And I've been in that house ever since. I haven't left, but I do pay all my bills by myself. I'm a full-time student. I'm going to school for human services. I'm an active member of AA. I have a sponsor. I have sponsees. I try to do what I can for the community. I've been with Mountain Comp a little over, I say it's a year and a half. For a year, I did the reentry program with the Round County Detention Center. I was the female peer support specialist for them. I did pre-release services and post-release services with our participants. I really liked that job. But I moved to the street outreach program, and it's working with homeless youth or runaway youth. We also do a drop-in center for them, and that program's not up and running yet. So like we're trying to get the word out right now. So right now we're doing a lot of outreach with community partners and just talking with people in the community and trying to build that program. It'll be open when I get home. We're going to open it that week. So it's very exciting. I can't wait to have youth in there and doing activities with them. And, you know, it's going to be so much fun. I'm just excited.
Oh, I can tell. I can tell. And I mean, what a wealth of experience you have. And I love that you are now able to kind of channel this into, I mean, you work with lots of different populations. That's
Morgan, don't forget
exciting.
Heart.
Oh,
You also are lead
We
peer
talked about
support
that
on
before you
Heart.
got on the call.
Oh, good.
yeah, they know I work for Hordes. That's why I didn't add that one in there.
So what counties do you serve? Because like when we kind of divvy up our groups, we will talk about that in a minute, but geographically we try to kind of cluster people so that they'll have kind of a community of people that they can go through the whole experience with. So it's nice to know like where you're located.
Yeah. So our drop-in center is located in Moorhead, but I do the outreach for 5 counties. So I do the Gateway area, which is Round County, Morgan County, Montgomery County, Menifee County, and I'm forgetting Elliott.
Is it Floyd too?
Yeah. So like Allie Little, she's a peer support through Mountain Comp. She does, I think it's 5. Is that the 5 area?
Okay.
She does Floyd County.
Okay, but you do, okay.
But Morgan's just connected to Floyd through Heart. So she'll be Floyd on Tuesdays with us when we're back to in person in August. But not technically her territory.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not, but I show up there a lot. I will be there a lot.
Well, and Morgan came highly recommended by her supervisor, Mary, whenever Mary and I talked for a while, just talking about what I was looking for in a peer support specialist and what our group needed. And so she just kind of handpicked Morgan and said, Morgan's going to be a great fit and she's willing to do it. And that's how we got Morgan, even though that's not her official county.
And Morgan, what we'll do is we will pay you an hourly rate since this is above your work time. I mean, it's not a lot. We're talking an hour and a half a week for 9 weeks. We will pay you for your time, however.
Okay.
Just so you know.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess we'll get into a little bit more about this particular project. Caroline, did you have something to share visually? Okay. So project scope is.
Christine, you have to let me share my screen.
Of course, let me go ahead and do that.
And Morgan, this is just to give us some visual, but feel free to stop us or ask questions at any point.
Okay.
All right. You should be able to pull that up in just a second. Right?
Tell me when it looks right. Does that look better?
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks great. Yeah, so like I said, this is kind of a grant that we have through the University of Kentucky through our agency, the Human Development Institute in Caroline. And I work on this project. And then we have Brandon, and he's lovely and he's amazing, kind of tech support and just make sure everything runs smoothly for us. And SCOPE stands for Supporting Children of the Opioid Epidemic. And yeah, this is just kind of a national project, and those are some of our kind of partner agencies across the nation. But the purpose is really to kind of build the skill sets of the providers in across Kentucky that work with children birth to 5 years of age that have been diagnosed with NAS, or children that have been exposed prenatally to other substances as well. So the focus of this cohort that we have coming up in this fall series, we're really doing some active recruiting of childcare providers and other folks that work with childcare providers. So for instance, Kristen works with early childhood mental health specialists. So if there are folks in early childhood mental health that really want to participate in that, then they're kind of like connected to that childcare community. So so they're not all going to be like all childcare providers, but we open it up to everybody. We really want it to be kind of a nice cross section of people because so many of us are impacted by this epidemic. And we really want to build the skill sets of anyone who comes in touch with families that have been exposed to substance use in any way. So that's kind of the main emphasis of this. And what makes it unique is like how it's structured, I think. But so some of the partners are like Kristen and her team, the University of Kentucky, and our team. Prevent Child Abuse Kentucky was kind of involved in backing this project. Their, Pathways and Beyond Birth, and we have lots of wonderful partners at the Governor's Office of Early Childhood. So there's lots of people rooting for this program and rooting for families that are, on this recovery path. So the main thing that you need to know about Project Scope is that we use this ECHO model, and ECHO is kind of it's like a professional development method that was developed, and it started out in the medical world, but it's kind of transitioning into education and kind of spilling over into other worlds because it's really, really effective. And so no matter who is in the room, no matter what level of experience they have in life or level of experience they have as far as like a degree in whatever random field, like everyone is an equal playing partner and everyone has a voice to share. And it is all equally important for us to learn and grow and share with one another. And that is what kind of makes it stand apart. So Project Scope, what kind of has a recipe. I think of it as a recipe to like how it's structured. So it always starts off with a kind of professional presentation, like a training, maybe 25 minutes. And then from there, we learn about the given topic. And then someone shares a kind of challenging situation, a challenging for whether it's a child or a family. And so that will be shared. Most of the time it's shared by one of the people in our group. And then we all go into breakout groups, and those breakout groups have the same facilitators week in and week out, and they have the same participants week in and week out, so that everybody kind of builds a community and just kind of feels safe, kind of sharing with one another. And you would help create that community and that safety, and what's said here stays here, and just like being really genuine and authentic with one another, and encouraging. There may be some people that might be quiet at first, and so if you can just don't like randomly call on them and say, what do you have to say? But just, do you have anything to share, or did you want to contribute to the conversation? And just give them, kind of a little polite nudge just in case they just need a little boost of confidence to feel comfortable sharing. So then we go into the breakouts and we have talking points. So each breakout will be given kind of a question to discuss in their breakout. And then we'll all come back as a group and kind of debrief it and share some of the highlights from each of the groups and kind of wrap it up. So that's kind of the formula for how each week will go. And as a facilitator, you will be paired up with another facilitator so that and I think it's helpful to kind of connect with that person a little bit ahead of time so that you can kind of get to know each other a little bit. But again, our goal, and the reason why I was asking why, like where you live, is so that we can kind of pair you up with someone that's in your, vicinity, so that hopefully you'll stay in touch with one another and be able to be colleagues well beyond, this 8 or 9 week series. So that is.
I kind of skipped around, Christine, to show the sequence like you were talking. So this, if we want to just go back one,
Okay.
that just kind of gives the structure, Morgan, of how the sessions.
Sure.
would be.
Okay.
So last fall we had our first series, and then and we just kind of did all points bulletin, like anybody and everybody could come in. But this fall we're kind of having a little bit more targeted audience of the folks that we're trying to recruit. We will have our series will be 9 weeks in total. Again, Caroline said an hour and a half each session. We really do ask that all of the participants, I mean, certainly our facilitators, we really need you to be present for the 9 weeks, if at all possible. And then we ask the same of our participants, because we really want that commitment to each other and to the work to make sure that we're building that community and that people are gaining all the information that is available to them. And you'll see the topics here. So those are the basic, and we've kind of tweaked some of that verbiage a little bit, but we are going to be having, those are the main topics. So learning about NAS, and both kind of in the NICU and as during that first year, kind of looking at child development and, are there monitoring children's development to make sure that we're giving them all the supports that they may need. And then kind of having some conversations with families, and then really highlighting the role of the peer support specialist. The role of the peer support specialist was added to our series last year. We kind of came up with that concept. One of our partners encouraged us to add that. And then to me, hands down, like for me, that was my favorite. It was really, really my favorite, because I just felt so many aha moments, because we heard directly from these moms and could hear their journey and could hear like what mattered to them. And I think that like really transformed everything. And so and that was like the last session. And so we're like, we are bumping that one further to the top, because I think that really resonated with so many people. And then some other topics are trauma-informed interventions for families. And then there are certain common issues that some children have, like with visual, that might not ordinarily be picked up unless you're really being intentional about looking for that. So we have an expert coming in to share that with our childcare providers and our families and whoever else is joining us. The sensory processing that sometimes there additional supports are needed there, as well as language. Then fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, that is a topic that was really people wanted to know more about last time. And so we are creating a whole separate week just on that topic alone, because there was so much interest there. And then new this year, we're just going to add an extra week. We're calling it next step. So like after we've had all this information, then we're going to talk about, okay, so now what do we do with this? Who else needs to know? Like whether it's kind of personal processing about what you're doing or whether it's like community processing. And so that's kind of an added thing. And so we're looking forward to seeing kind of the fruit of those conversations.
And this actually, yeah, this should be called Child Challenges. Morgan, we've renamed this, but
yeah, kind of the recipe that I refer to of the ECHO model. They kind of use this term, you know, case presentations, and that kind of sounded either a little dry or a little clinical or something. And I don't think people were as forthcoming with the challenges or any problems they were having with their children, with their families, with whomever. And so when we reframed it, I think we're hoping that we're just going to get a lot more examples of things that we can discuss in our breakout groups. And there too, they all tie to one of the topics, you know, the given topic of the day. But with you as a facilitator, if you have experienced, you know, any sort of challenge, you know, throughout your journey and could speak to it, like you could submit like a little blurb, a little paragraph of, you know, kind of thinking back, or who knows, maybe with your 3-year-old, or, you know, you may have something that you're like, oh, I'd like to pick their brains about that, you know? So that's what we're rebranding from case presentations to child challenges. Okay. And again, it's free advice. It's free tips. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we always pair a facilitator as well with someone that has lived experience. So those two co-facilitators will be paired up throughout the whole entire series. And you can connect with your partner and you can kind of figure out how you want to like co-lead your group together. Sometimes somebody might be like, oh, I'll be the note taker, or I'll be the person that shares out with the group kind of like our top 2 takeaways from our breakout group. Or maybe one of you wants to lead the conversation and the question prompt, or maybe you want to flip it each week. Or I think that's something that you just kind of figure out that rhythm together. And so we'll notify you who your buddy will be, and then you can kind of take it from there. And Caroline will work primarily with the speakers, and I will be working closely with the facilitators. So if you ever have a question, like, please reach out. And we are fortunate, I'm hoping, our goal is that we will have enough facilitators this year that Caroline and I will be able to kind of pop in a room if needed. So like if you wanted to raise your, in Zoom, you can say, oh, you know, help. And if you know, want us, either one of us to pop in, we're always available. But time does move pretty quickly, I think, in those breakouts. People, once they get to know each other, get a little chatty.
Yep. We always take it over.
There you go.
We're going to have to cut you off.
Yeah, you probably will be like, Morgan, it's time to end now. It's time to go.
And we do have some, I'm not seeing the slides anymore, Caroline.
That was all.
Okay, all right. So we do have some incentives. You know, we have some like one door prize per week. We do, for people who have, I don't know, like perfect attendance, they do get a choice of a book. That we have 4 different books that people like, resource books, or one is a children. Who knows? Maybe we'll switch them up this year, but there are some incentives for people to just kind of be consistent with their attendance. And I don't know, do you have any questions for us?
Not at the moment. Like, I'm just trying to like take everything in, but I'm sure in the next few days or the next week, I will have a lot. So I'll probably email you guys with some.
Yeah, no, that is perfectly fine. And we will, as it gets a little bit closer, we will have just a kind of an orientation, a meeting that I'll run with all of our, hopefully all of us, our co-facilitators, so that we have kind of, I'll walk you through like what to expect and, you know, how far in advance you'll get the materials so that you do get them ahead of time so that you can kind of look them over. You'll get the case presentation or child challenge well in advance so that you can even begin to think through. Because sometimes if you just get it Johnny on the spot and you're trying to facilitate, and then you know,
Yeah.
so there will be some talking points. So you'll have that in advance so you can feel prepared going in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's really a wonderful program. And I just think with your experience particularly, it will probably feel very natural for you. And you're going to have a broader audience, you know, to share your experience and then just lend your voice and the voice of many other moms so that we can better serve moms and babies and families. So it will hopefully be powerful, and hopefully you'll get some more affirmations to put in your little warm fuzzy jar.
I know, I'm like right now, my heart, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna make me tear up.
Well, you had me
Yeah.
crying earlier.
But
Yeah.
you didn't show it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's like I don't often get to work directly in direct service anymore in the position that I'm in. So I'm borrowing that from you today, and
Mhm.
it's really satisfying work that you're doing, and you have a really big impact. And now we'll probably have 100 people in this group. 100 to 120. Our capacity is 120. So that's that many more service providers. And if each of them are serving, you know, 10, 15, 20 kids, like this, you definitely will have a voice that will be carrying across the state.
But Morgan, only about 10 people in your small group. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
About 100 overall, but about 10 in your small group. And
They'll
Thank
take
you
what
for
they,
clarifying.
yeah, they'll take what they learn in this group and share it with 10 more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I couldn't imagine a breakout group of 120. I'm sorry if that was not communicated clearly.
I'm like, maybe I could do it if I was just looking at myself the whole time though. Maybe.
Oh. Well, we're still doing some final recruiting and kind of waiting to hear back from some folks as far as if their availability, what their availability is and that kind of thing. So as soon as we get all of our yeses, then I will work on getting that training scheduled, and then we can move forward. Registration will be going out in July at some point. I'm not exactly sure when, but Caroline has been very busy finalizing the speakers and creating a flyer so that registration, this is free to everyone who wants to participate. So that is really nice. And registration did fill up rather quickly last time, and hopefully people had good experiences and will kind of spread the word and tell their friends to register.
And Kristen,
Okay.
go ahead, Morgan.
I was just agreeing.
Okay.
Like that's a good thing because I like talking to people and like letting them know of resources and things available. So I'm like definitely going to share it with Head Start here. Definitely going to share it with both my sisters. They work for Head Start in different counties, and my daughter's
Right.
daycare. Like, you
For
know,
sure.
Perfect.
Yes.
So Kristen, I'll send the flyer to Kristen and she can forward it wherever, or Morgan, we can send it to you as well to distribute.
Okay.
Open to everybody in childcare kind of fields, all those folks you recommended.
mhm.
Yes, that'd be cool to have some people that you know well in your group. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. They know I'm a talker.
That's good. We're hiring you to do that. We're delighted.
Yay!
Yeah,
Getting paid for what I do, anyways.
yeah, exactly. Any other questions that you have?
No, I don't. I don't have any right now.
Well, thank you so much for taking this time to be with
Yes,
us.
on vacation of all things.
Yeah,
So where are you?
I'm in Panama City.
Panama City. Wow.
Is it hot?
No, actually, it's not. Like
Lucky.
Because like we're right on the ocean. Hold on, I'm like, let me see. I was gonna sit outside and do this.